So ladies and gentlemen, just as a big update to the video that I posted yesterday regarding Kayla Malik, James Charles, Zach Sellers, and Evan Johnson, clearly there was a lot of information that I was missing before I said what I said in that video at the time of recording. And turns out in this new apology video released by James Charles, he's just straight up denying everything. Here we have James Charles basically saying he's about to sue everybody essentially for the lies and deception.
I don't support him, I don't support violence against women, and I sure as hell do not support the disgusting, deplorable, violent, heinous acts that he committed against Kayla Malik behind closed doors. I really fucking hope and pray that when this goes to court this week, Kayla gets justice for what that man put her through. At the same time, the videos that I'm currently seeing all over my For You page are disturbing to me. This is not TikTok tea and drama for everyone else's entertainment. This is real people dealing with some really serious shit. The conversation has completely shifted focus away from Kayla Malik and how she was brave enough to speak out about what she went through to how James Charles involved, the downfall, Bye Sister 2.0, where's the apology video? It's distracting.
I mean, it's also funny though, because James, you always end up in these situations somehow, some way, whether intentionally or not, because you're just way too horny. You can't control your D. But essentially, he's also saying that he never slept with this guy. So he's saying he just felt bad for him because he was going through the same type of situation that he himself, James, has been through many times before. So you'll hear it for yourselves.
From the actual issue at hand, which is domestic violence. I have not spoken out about this for a couple of different reasons. The main one being, this is going to court this week. Anything I or anybody else says online can and probably will be used by either Evan's defense attorney or the judge to affect the outcome of its ruling. And I didn't want to put Kayla at any risk for that. I hate that I'm getting online and filming this video right now, but I truthfully have no other choice because I've also spent the last several weeks trying to get in contact with the only person involved in this that actually matters and needs to hear the truth, and that's Kayla Malik. And she has been unwilling to have a conversation with me. And frankly, I don't fucking blame her. After I watched the laughable interview between Be Better and Zach Sellers, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with me either if I was being fed complete bullshit lies and misinformation from the person whose only source of information is the same man that lied to and abused me for 9 months straight.
So basically at this point in time, James Charles is saying the interviewer from Be Better Company who interviewed Zach is a complete fraudster, a liar, and is full of shit. His words, not mine. As you can tell, I saw most of this video already, but obviously running it back for video purposes. However, James basically goes on to yap about how all of this is entirely misconstrued and taken out of context, and that he had no idea that Evan Johnson was beating her the fuck up the entire time. He's saying he flat out had no idea.
At this point, I have no choice other than to get online, tell my story, and then prove my story to be true in a court of law. I am suing Zach Sellers and anybody else that thinks it's funny or entertaining to get online and spread defamatory and slanderous lies, misinformation, completely bullshit made up stories for the sake of views, likes, engagement, and galaxies. I'm done.
Oh shit, this actually might start getting a lot more serious for the people involved. Lives might just be destroyed. People might be losing their houses.
This all started at the beginning of 2025 when I reached out to Kayla about her and Evan being in a Valentine's Day video together. She told me she couldn't. She was crashing out because they had just broken up because he was crazy. I tried to lighten the mood a little bit and make a lighthearted joke asking could I have him now, and then asked what actually happened between them.
See, that's the thing for me. You obviously were attracted to this guy, and you also say you weren't really close friends with this girl, but based on the messages I'm seeing, this seems like a friendly type, oh, I really know you type of conversation. But again, you can't control your D. What does she say? I broke up with him last night. You said what? She said, girl, he's fucking crazy. Then you say, what happened? Can I have him now? Like, who respond? You don't even know what happened last night, and you're now coming out and saying, can I have him now, bro? Laughing my ass off. Then he says, I'm so sorry, Kayla, you deserve better. She responds back by saying, imagine like the worst things a human can do to you. Imagine. She told you to imagine, bro. What is one of the worst? Murder? Grape, domestic violence. Like, these are some of the worst things. James, could you not like read between the lines? Then you responded back by saying, oh God, you're actually doing a series on it? I assumed a series on her experience with this guy, and he ultimately says, I'm sorry. Crying emoji ×3, like this wasn't taking shit serious, bro.
All she told me was that he did awful things to her and that I would find out more in her 30-part TikTok series. She said she was upset that she helped build his platform based off of lies and abuse, and whenever she was healed, she was going to get online and expose him. I'm going to be so honest, I did not take this conversation very seriously.
Clearly.
And obviously, now knowing what we all do, I fucking should have. Reading it back now, it is super clear that she was using humor to cope, and that is perfectly fine and valid, but But at the time, I genuinely interpreted these messages as a messy breakup. Maybe he cheated, maybe they got into a drunken argument that ended badly. I could have never imagined what she was actually going through behind the scenes. A lot of Kayla's own friends and family have said they had no idea what she was going through. I wish I could go back in time and been there for her, tried to help her. I wish that I would have asked more questions, but frankly, I didn't feel comfortable doing so. First and foremost, she obviously wasn't ready to talk about it yet based on her last message. And secondly, me and Kayla Malik just weren't close friends. I don't say that to take away from her feelings about this. I don't say that to undermine what she went through. We've only met a couple of times. We collabed in 2023. She guest starred on a podcast with me in 2024, and we hung out at our mutual friend's Halloween party back in October. We've never hung out one-on-one. We've never had a deep conversation. I just really didn't know her that well to be able to interpret these messages and have a better idea of what was actually happening behind closed doors. And I wish more than anything I did, because I should have never gotten involved with this, but I did not know what she was going through.
Now, to play devil's advocate, to be fair, to give James Charles a little leeway, I mean, he is right. If you don't really know anybody like that, you know, at best you're an acquaintance of somebody, you exchange numbers, and I guess if this was just like a little casual text convo they were having and he didn't really know her like that, then understandable. And I'm not really sure why she would have come to someone like James Charles if she didn't really know him like that. They're not best friends, only hung out in groups a couple of times, never one-on-one. Why you would like come to him about this type of stuff when you know how James is. Like, bro, this is like probably one of the last people you want to come to if you're actually going through some shit. But again, to be fair, clearly James was attracted to this guy. And now that he was aware that allegedly they were officially broken up after that video of her saying she got her jaw broken, her head lumped up, I suppose because James admittedly himself didn't take it that seriously, thought, now it's my time to shine. It's my time to slide in, finesse my way into them, you know. And yeah, it's I don't know why he always gets himself into these situations, man. Like, bruh.
I really fucking hate to admit it, but I did have a brief friendship with Evan Johnson that started and ended well before I ever learned about any of the violence that was going on behind the scenes.
A brief friendship, he says. When I saw this video and I heard him say that, we all already know what a brief friendship can entail. Allegedly, I'm just saying.
He reached out to me a couple of days later asking me for advice and told me the same exact story that Zach Sellers believed and then repeated on the Be Better podcast, which was that the relationship was toxic, they both said things and did things that they shouldn't have, and a bunch of other stories that genuinely made me believe Evan Johnson was the victim in the situation. He told me that he moved back to Nashville to go to church and get therapy and try to become a better man, and he seemed vulnerable. He seemed real, and he seemed scared that Kayla was going to get online and start telling lies about him, and he knew exactly what to say to relate it back to a situation that I was in that made me have sympathy for him and be on his side. I feel so fucking dumb for ever believing him, but when I was in a similar situation, all I cared about was anybody treating me like a human being and hearing me out and being there for him, so that's what I tried to provide. We became closer, we would start FaceTiming.
You became closer. You started FaceTiming. You see, given that further context, it just, and to be fair, I understand where James is coming from. Obviously, he's been in similar situations repeatedly. And at face value, he thought this guy, Evan, was going through the same situation as an alleged victim. Turns out this man was beating on a woman. He was the perpetrator, not the victim. And James Charles foolishly decided to believe a man he didn't really know. I mean, logically speaking, since I'm just a third party in the situation, I really have no natural biases in this. Not friends with any of these people, right? If you didn't know Kayla Malik like that, you're saying you only met her a couple of times, right? Casual acquaintances, exchanging numbers type shit on some casual stuff, right? She texted you out of the blue about some relationship stuff and maybe some content creation stuff and divulged that she just broke up with her boyfriend. You responded in a way that was in jest, lighthearted, right? Because you didn't really know what she was going through. You thought it was some standard, petty, rough patch type shit. Cool. My question is, why then get mixed up with this relationship if you didn't know them like that? You didn't know her like that. Odds are you didn't know him like that either. So he decided to reach out to you to find some type of safety net, some type of shelter. He told you his sob story, probably cried in your DMs or whatever, and you just fell for it hook, line, and sinker without doing any type of investigation yourself about why they actually broke up. You didn't come to her, ask her what the hell was going on? Because he's hot, allegedly, tall, allegedly, cute, allegedly to you, pretty face, you fell for it. Again, even though you want to deny it, is because you can't, you're horny, bruh. Like, I know I keep saying the H word, bro, but like, if this guy was ugly, let's be honest, would James Charles have even engaged with him? Would he have FaceTimed him? Would he have entertained him? If this guy was a gremlin, a troll, a nobody with no type of platform, would James Charles have got mixed up in this Kayla Malik and Evan Johnson situation of domestic violence? I doubt it.
Escape and get his mind off of things for a weekend, so I invited him out. All we did was sit on the couch, order food, watch movies.
All we did was, whoa. Now that sounded like a whole ass fucking first type date. Netflix and chill type shit. The prequel to getting them cheeks clapped. Like, what are we talking about, bro?
That some of the press, and eventually he told me that he wanted to come out to LA to escape and get his mind off of things for a weekend, so I invited him out. All we did was sit on the couch, order food, watch movies, but over the course of the weekend, I slowly started to notice that some of his stories were not exactly lining up. There were inconsistencies, and I started to get worried that I might be on the wrong side of things, and that was confirmed as soon as Kayla noticed that he was at my house and I had to lie to her.
And this could have all been avoided if you weren't as horny. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like a brainlet, a low IQ, herder, by not seeing any other logical conclusion as to why James let this man slide into his DMs, FaceTimed him for days, invited him ultimately to his LA house, hung out on a couch together, watched movies and ordered food like they were a new kindling couple about to fall in love type shit. Like, am I just reading this wrong? Or is just James trying to deny the fact that he was beginning to like this guy for whatever reason?
I realized then that I was in the middle of a very fucking messy situation that I should have never gotten involved with in the first place, but this man was staying with me and I didn't know how to get out of it. Later on that night, I told Evan straight up I was uncomfortable, I was upset that I had to lie to her, and that we could not hang out any further. He respected that, and the next morning, he flew home.
You mean after you guys did a little something after that Netflix and chill, right? A little something, allegedly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the video, there's like a whole other half of this video, and I don't want to make this video like 40 minutes long. So we're gonna skim to the part to where he said he didn't have any sexual intercourse with this guy, and he's gonna be suing everybody, basically.
What started off as a video of James Charles supporting Evan Johnson behind the scenes snowballed into more videos, more content, and then live streams. Every single night, Zach has been live asking for galaxies in exchange for showing more receipts. He's been asking his followers for their cities and locations so he can go on tour with Kayla after this is all over with. He's even been asking for donations on PayPal to fund a merch line. This has nothing to do with getting justice for Kayla and everything about making an opportunity for himself. And the perfect one came along when Be Better flew him out to Canada for their podcast interview.
And we saw that interview in the video that I uploaded yesterday. Kind of showed you guys the major parts of the clips. And yeah, James is saying he's going to be suing these people.
Aside from the timeline that I just told you guys, everything else in that hour-long episode is complete bullshit. To start rumors about somebody online is one thing. Unfortunately, I know that that comes with the job, but to publicly accuse them of prostitution is ridiculous. There is no proof, no evidence of any of the ridiculous claims that Zach is making because they did not happen, which is why I have no choice other than to take legal action. But before I do that, I want to quickly take a second and clear the air on some things that have really set me over the edge. First and foremost, Evan Johnson and I did not in any way, shape, or form have a physically sexual relationship.
What does that mean? See, when James says certain things, it's just, I'm easily able to peep it. Physically sexual relationship. Why did you have to say physically? Could it have been digitally? I don't know. I'm just saying. FaceTime. You admitted that you FaceTimed this guy for multiple days on end. Could you have shown him certain things? In the interview with Be Better Company and Zach, they say you sent him stuff. I don't know. You just had to show your ass. So it's not physically. Could have been digitally. Allegedly. I'm just saying. Don't sue me.
Did not have sex while he was here, and I did not, under any circumstances, pay Evan Johnson for sexual favors. Not in person, and certainly not online through a secret OF account where I'm apparently funding his entire life. That is absurd. Not that it's anybody's business, but I do have an OF account. I'm a grown adult. I barely use it, but Zach, if you would like to see, I will gladly send you a screenshot of my transaction history. I have nothing to hide, and I have not sent Evan Johnson $1 single. Zach claims to know all this information to be true because he pressured Evan into getting drunk and telling him what happened on the trip. I don't know if Evan lied to him to make the trip seem more fun and exciting, or if Zaki literally just made this up for funsies. I would like to believe that that isn't the case and that he was manipulated in this situation as well, but he claims to have seen a video on Evan's phone of him having sex with me. Zach, post it.
Don't post that, please. We don't want to see that. Also, it seems as though that Evan on this trip to Netflix and chill with James Charles, I suppose maybe exaggerated or fabricated some things about what actually may have happened. But again, at this point in time, it's he said, she said, or at this point, he said, he said. Evan may have alluded to the fact that they they had sex. James Charles is just flat out denying this. So, I mean, at this point in time, who's the more believable character? It's up to you to decide. I don't know. Like, this is crazy.
If you have the receipt, if you have the video evidence, you can upload it. You have my full consent and permission. I've had far worse posted to me online that I didn't consent to. Go right ahead. But you can't because there is no video of something that did not happen. Be Better doesn't even stand by these claims because he's now added a disclaimer to their interview that says he was not able to verify a single thing that Zach said.
And that disclaimer said, and I might have to put a disclaimer in my comment section too, saying the views and allegations expressed in this interview are solely those of the interviewee. This content is presented in the public interest for the purposes of discussion and awareness. No statements have been verified, and I do not assert any claims as a fact. I'm acting solely as the interviewer and publisher, not the source of these allegations. So yeah, listen, man. I just want to say, bruh, long story short, because this man he's just gonna keep yapping, bro. He's suing people. He's saying the interviewer lied. Zach is lying. Evan is lying. He didn't want to mess with the process of Kayla's court case and, you know, mess up the judgment on that with his drama, and that he did not sleep with Evan. No physical interactions happened, and that everybody's just lying on his name, bro. And that Kayla was manipulated to believe he did things that he didn't actually believe. So that's basically the TLDR. And honestly, bro, James, whether you do it intentionally or not, you just can't seem to stay away from drama, man. But guys, girls, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think about this entire situation? I may provide further updates about James's impending lawsuit against everybody aside from Kayla, Be Better, Zach, Evan, who's now in like jail or whatever, probably gonna get out on like house arrest or type shit, ankle monitor, restraining order. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, everybody, stay safe out there.